Make
That's
a motion to open the
that's what
meeting.
it says. Therefore, we
I'll
have,
second it.
under that,
Aye.
aye?
Aye.
Okay.
I make a motion for Mr. McFarland to continue as acting chairman.
Why don't you do it? You wanted me to do it? All right. All
Well,
right.
you go for it.
That's the motion. Okay, is it seconded?
I'll second.
All right, second. Jane? Aye?
Aye.
Zach?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye? Okay. Let the record be clear. So if someone objects to something that we purport to decide today, we have a very small agenda. We've dealt with the technicalities that pertain under the current code of the regulations of the Village of Southampton. Thank you very much.
I don't think we have anything super controversial
No.
on the agenda.
No. Okay, we have, the first item is on 9 Main Street.
In your file is a resolution extending the application
Yeah.
as requested by the applicant, which will run, Tim, through to and including the regular meeting in July.
Okay, that'll be fine.
Is that all right? Yeah, we discussed that at the work session, seems in order and all that sort of thing, so we can make that official. So a
The
motion,
vote on the motion will be to approve the resolution.
I would make a motion to approve
extension.
the extension of 9 Main Street till August 2020.
Pursuant to the resolution in the file.
Approve the resolution authorizing the extension to August 2020.
Is it seconded?
Second.
Vote?
Aye.
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 Okay, it has been duly extended. Hope that's satisfactory, sir. Okay, 9 Main Street, and I have a copy of it, and you have the memo. Pam, you can show it was unanimous, please. It's a second extension, it has to do with the technicalities that he told us about. Okay. The second item is for post 32, the Silvettes for post crossing this is another extension. And,
Just landed on the agenda today.
yeah,
I think we have to pull the file.
Do we know when
What?
Pam, do you have the file?
I have the file, and it says on 2/4/19, we extended to August 5th.
Oh, okay.
So that's today.
That's
yeah,
today.
that's today.
And
I don't know what-
It's been extended, let me see. It was first extended on, it's 2017,
Mm-hmm.
then 2018, and then 2018 again on a 6-month, then it went to 6 months.
Yeah, and I think Diane said that they've had a very difficult time with the health department. So until we get all the details on that, my suggestion would be to suggest to you a motion this evening to extend it for all purposes to the regular meeting in the Monday meeting in September.
The one that-
Whatever, the first, to your regular meeting in September, whatever day that's going to be.
1 month extension?
1 month
Yeah, 1 month
and then
extension,
we'll-
because you don't have any notice.
Because I don't have
Kathy,
any
do you have
notice.
any notice as to what issues come up that causes this?
No, so let's extend it for 1 month to keep it alive, and
It seemed quite regular coming into this. There were no issues. Okay.
Make a motion to
Motion to-
extend Donnie Silvett's 3242 post crossing to the meeting in September, which is Tuesday, the
4th.
6th?
No.
Third? Third.
Third.
Tuesday the 3rd of
Tuesday the
September.
3rd, I believe.
So, August 5th.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Aye.
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 Thank you all. Okay, now we've got something that we've delegated a couple of times to council, to our board.
yeah, I drafted a
and-
resolution for your consideration. We discussed this at the work session. This has been going on, I think,
Yep.
now for the better part of 2 years. There really has not been recently any showing of a good faith attempt to pursue the matter in front of the Board of Appeals.
Yep.
And this board also, so therefore, the resolution is to dismiss the application without prejudice. The applicant can therefore bring another application at his discretion. So an affirmative vote on the motion will be to dismiss the application from the planning board files without prejudice.
Without prejudice, right? And this, you drafted this one, Bo, thank you.
I make a motion to vote on the resolution dismissing the application of John Danielson, 30 Sanford Place.
To approve, not vote on, but to approve.
Approve the
Approve
resolution
the motion.
dismissing the application.
Without, and I'd like the record to show without prejudice. Seconded?
I'll second
It's
it.
been seconded. Jane?
Aye.
Zach?
Aye.
Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you all. Now we have an action about BRL, and therefore I recuse myself for discussions of this.
Pardon? Yeah, but I need to discuss it with the board, so Alan, if
So
you
I
would
have
just
to- I have
excuse
to-
yourself from the
yeah.
room for 2 minutes.
Thank you.
The matter of BRL Hampton Road LLC, 630 Hampton Road. There's a note on my agenda that the ZBA denied the request for variances in the July 25th meeting.
Well, they have also, similar to what we just did with Mr. Danielson, they have dismissed it from their agenda for lack of prosecuting it, because further consideration by the Board of Appeals would involve renoticing. They don't know what application is coming back, whether it's the same or a modified application previously submitted. The two applications, the one before the Board of Appeals, the one before the Planning Board, must be identical. So it would be, that's to the information of the board, and my recommendation, which we'll discuss at the next work session, would be to also dismiss this from the agenda, because, again, it's going to have to be renoticed, and there's no point in keeping it stale. All right, so
So for the moment, we just needed
just a motion to adjourn for all purposes.
adjournment.
Can we dismiss it after we've already voted to adjourn it?
Oh, yes. Yeah, you're just adjourning it to all purposes to the September meeting.
Okay. Because we've adjourned it already to October meeting. So if we
Okay, yeah,
dismiss it, if we dismiss
excuse
it
me,
before October,
yeah,
does that become an
I've
issue?
lost track of, no, so it's good. We don't need to do a thing, but at the October meeting, we'll contemplate, if nothing is done, we'll contemplate a dismissal at that time. Okay, so you don't need to do anything, Roy,
Okay.
and you can call Alan back.
Grab it.
Thank you. Okay. If that's in order, we now have 205 Windmill Lane
In your file is a
decision.
resolution to approve the application as amended. It also includes a condition that the applicant comply with the requirements of the Suffolk County Department of Health Service. So therefore, a affirmative vote on the motion will be to conditionally approve the to approve the conditional resolution.
Condition on further proceedings with the Health Department.
Correct.
And Kathy, there was a small bit of issue of the neighbors in the back, and all that was satisfactory, as I remember, in our prior discussions. Okay, therefore, we can entertain a motion to approve it.
I make a motion to approve the resolution conditionally approving the site plan for 205 Windmill Lane.
Second it.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye,
Aye.
Aye.
thank you all.
Alan, did you sign the map?
Yeah. Thank you, Pam.
It's the fifth.
Right? Still the 5th. 2, 1. Thank you.
That's his.
Okay, now we have, and we got some data that came from you today, and I see John is here.
Rob, did you get a copy?
No, if you have an extra one,
Yeah.
Let's see.
You might not want it, but, full
Have
service.
a copy, Jane?
thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Thank
Oh,
you.
wait, is that the right one?
205?
Make sure it says.
There you go. This is 205.
Thanks, Zach. Thank you. Okay, 134 Murray Lane, and
So in your file is
more
a
environmental stuff came courtesy of Kathy. I think it arrived today, further review.
There has been 2 submissions or 3 submissions. In your file is a memorandum from council setting forth the current status of this matter based upon the village environmental consultant's conclusion that the walkway would have no significant detrimental environmental impact. I think that the board should consider rescission of the covenants, since all the other 4 lots have their own walkways. We don't know yet the legal status of it, but it appears that it's better to have the walkway than allow foot traffic across the dune. So in order to consider the rescission, your board would need to schedule a public hearing, have it discussed at that time. The public hearing would include notice pursuant to the public hearing provision, and also specifically to make sure that the notice included the other 4 property owners that are also affected. At such future time, the board did have a consensus to rescind the resolution. You would then have a resolution to that effect, and then it would be up to the owners to consent to the
Because of the
Decision.
agreement that this board approved decades ago.
right. But you approved it, but the document was signed by the subdivider who owned the land.
Right,
So in order to rescind this covenant, the 5 current owners
the owners.
would have to agree, and they would sign a document rescinding the covenant under language that also reflected the board's, obviously, allowance or permission to do so. So my suggestion would be to formulate a resolution setting forth a date for a public hearing and move forward in that direction if you are so inclined.
Board members, anyone see matters here that are not somehow ancient, irregular, but quite appropriate for the beach? Do you see any issues, Jane? Zach?
It seems to make common sense that that would be the right thing to do, yeah.
Running up and down over the dune isn't a good thing to do. So,
We understand that, and all these structures, even if they're temporary, are regulated by other people and so forth. So it seems to me we should have a motion on this matter to schedule a public hearing, with proper notice being given for our next meeting.
Mr. Bennett?
Okay, now, does anyone in the audience like to talk about our scheduling this for
The only thing, and again, it's John Bennett for the applicant, the only thing, and I'm not going to jump up and down too much about it if you don't agree with me, but the last time you did this, you merely required the consent of all the property owners. You didn't have a public hearing. And again, I'm not going to get terribly upset one way or the other. It's just a question of timing. But the covenant talks about 5 lots. The only people that are affected, the owners of the 5 lots. I can't imagine that they wouldn't want to agree to make this all done. But I would just wonder if you would consider merely just asking me to get the consent of the owners, as opposed to, I don't know who else would be affected by this.
Well,
And again, I'm not
as
too upset
a
about
former
it.
beach owner, and I understand this thing, and I'm still concerned with the regulation, which affects us all and everything.
No, it
A
doesn't
temporary walk to the beach is regulated by other than just us and
No, it's
the people.
regulated by you under your coastal erosion hazard law and your building permit, and the DEC. And I will
and so
tell you
forth.
without fear of contradiction that if you go to the DEC and ask them for a beach walkway and you show that it's appropriately elevated and it's no longer wider than 4 feet, they will give you the permit without even thinking twice about it, because they want to make sure that this is a good thing and it actually limits the area of disturbance. So I don't know who's affected by this but the other 5 owners, but if you feel more comfortable with the public, as I said, I'm not going to jump up.
John, I think we do, and, I guess there's a tangential argument that any member of the subdivision presently should sign off, but we're not going to go that far.
No.
The covenant was signed by all 3 owners of the property.
Well, that's true.
was the estate. So, I mean, theoretically, that now has devolved into those 10 lots. So we don't want to go there, but
No, that's fine. That's
it's just,
fine. I could have my
I think the
arguments on
public
that.
notice, I think the public notice adequately puts everybody else on notice
That's fine.
and
That's fine.
precludes any
Okay.
future issue.
Fair enough, fair enough, fair enough, fair
Right.
enough. Yep, thank you.
I would say, I have great sympathy with the argument. I think it's just fine, however, given the influence of extra interest in all these regulatory matters are taken, and the DEC that you've assumed will act properly. My experience with the DEC is they do not do what's expected all the time, but that's all right.
Well, more to the
That's
point,
experience.
actually, you could argue about the other people's consent, but I would actually agree with Mr. Robinson. If there's a public hearing, it would be hard for the other 5 members to argue. So that's
Exactly.
fine. That's
So
great.
I just think it's under the circumstances,
That's fine.
it's tie favor the base runner. It's baseball. I think it's the more appropriate thing to do at this time with all the other issues that you can argue very well about that may affect it. Thank you.
Is September 3rd enough time?
We'll entertain a motion that a public hearing be scheduled with due notice on September
3.
3 before this board, and anyone interested can come and make a noise about it.
Anyway, Labor Day.
It's the Tuesday after.
It's the Tuesday after Labor Day. It's probably perfect.
Yeah, it's Sunday the 2nd. I think it's the 4th. Sunday, Bo,
February.
Sunday's the 2nd.
February.
Sunday's the 2nd, so it would be Tuesday the 4th, isn't it?
We can find that out fast enough.
Is that what you guys are having? They're delaying the meeting by a day? Okay, great.
Yeah, we'll just do it on Tuesday.
Sure.
And so moved.
Monday is the 2nd, Tuesday is the 3rd.
Monday, Tuesday, okay, the 3rd. So moved. Any second?
I'll make a second.
Jane?
Aye.
Zach?
Aye.
Aye?
Aye.
Okay. That
Thank you.
matter has been rescheduled, thank you. Okay, now we have a matter of a subdivision at the end of Sanford Place. And Kathy,
I could just give you an update that
did you get up, you've
I-
gotten up to speed on this?
I have requested the files, and
the
Jackie
road.
provided them on flash drive. So I have the file to look.
And this has to do with where does the road end and all that sort of stuff,
The
right?
history of that subdivision, yes.
Yeah.
So I'll take a look at this and have something for the work session for you.
Because I did get a second to take a peek at it, and the road absolutely ends at that driveway and then divides in two as if it's a little lot and another. So it
Yep.
brings in the few issues that this board considers, such as flags and ends and all this sort of stuff. So let's make sure that if it does pertain to any of the issues we have, they've been covered. Otherwise, the 2 lots, I think, given the zoning stuff, are conforming to the division. We can do this on an organized basis. So, Bo, we, by mutual
I think
consent, we delay
we
it?
should deem the application incomplete at this stage, Kathy?
Yeah, it's
Incomplete?
not complete.
Incomplete, so you don't have a complete application to vote on it, just acknowledge that it's being carried over?
We want to properly extend it.
Right, but you don't have a complete application, I think, because we haven't reviewed the the consultant hasn't had a time to review the full documentation. So we're usually extending
For
things
us.
because we've got a completed application.
Okay, that's fine,
This is
too.
incomplete, this has not been determined yet to be complete, so therefore, it just can continue on your agenda, subject to continued review.
Okay, so we need not take a motion.
Correct.
All right. If we've got enough grounds for it to be incomplete.
Correct.
We're going
We
to,
believe so.
anyone in here upset with that? We're going to extend this one. It's a division of the lawyer's office into 2 lots.
What, the concern's right that it might be landlocked, right, the second lot?
It's not landlocked, Zach, because the map, the subdivision map clearly shows that 1/2 of the, the right-of-way for Sanford Place is 50 feet wide,
Yep.
and that ends on that easterly line of the property north of the Schmidt property line.
Yep.
The southern half of that is part of the applicant property, so they have at least 25 feet of road frontage on a public road. The other 25 feet is a flag lot to 120 Sanford Place and what was the doctor's office. So those two are now split in title. So this lot does have 25 feet of road frontage, but it doesn't have the required, 200 feet of road frontage, Kathy? That would be required if you were subdividing street front property.
It's an office district, so I think it's 100.
Yeah, it might be per lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, so technically, they would need 200 feet of road frontage to comply with the zoning requirement. So it, maybe at worst, there would be a zoning variance involved, but we just can't determine that yet.
Because aren't they're going to look for a special exception, right, to convert it?
Yeah, but the special exception was granted on 120. I mean, that's,
Yeah, I mean,
that's pretty
Yeah,
much
it's not,
It's been done.
not a
Yeah.
big deal to convert
okay.
one vacant, if it was one vacant lot in the building to convert to 2 residences, it's sort of like an upzoning, if you will. So I don't think that would be a problem, but the question is, first of all, whether they can even subdivide it.
The west lot, they want to separate, so we have that in front of us. Okay,
So you just can note that you've reviewed that and move on to the Fernandez Barnhart.
we have a lot line modification.
And in the file is a resolution approving that
The Fernandez,
application as submitted, I believe, Kathy.
yeah.
As originally submitted. So an affirmative vote on the resolution will to approve the lot line modification.
Okay, we can vote on a resolution for 65 Captain's Neck Lane and 41 Barnhart Street for Fernandez.
I make a motion to approve the decision.
Resolution?
Resolution.
Authorizing the lot line modification for 65 Captain's Neck Lane and 41 Barnard Street.
I'll second that.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye,
Aye.
Aye.
thank you. Okay. Now we have 132 and 122, 132 South Main Street for lot line modifications.
It's, adjourned.
But I think we adjourned it at the last meeting until the next meeting, so I don't think there's any action that needs to be taken.
Correct.
Okay, so noted. That's been extended. Okay, we have before us, Anthony has given us 6 minute approvals, April, May, June, July, and July 29.
So,
I think that July 29 hasn't been circulated yet,
no,
has
it
it?
hasn't.
And July 1 I was missing 4.
They're all out now, but you could do the April 29th, the May 6th, and then June 3rd. And I have on April 29th, no Jane or Pam, or on 5/6, and on June 3rd, all of 5 of you.
So we can take those first 3. June 24 I thought had come out and been circulated, but you think maybe not.
I thought I did, but you had said that I had sent you an email back. I did send it, but you said that you didn't have it. That's all.
Well, then I'll look at it again, because I always do them as fast as I can.
Okay.
Want it through Word or otherwise.
Circulated, but-
All right.
Okay.
Okay, then we'll entertain a motion that 3 of us were on April 29th. Who were they?
No Pam or Jane on the 29th or the 6th of May.
Okay, so on the 29th or the 6th, motion before the board to approve those minutes. I will urge their approval. Seconded?
Second.
Aye.
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 That's approved. May 6th, same motion by me.
Second.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, okay. June 3 was all of us. Okay, anybody have any? Okay, I'll move their approval for the record.
Second.
Aye.
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 Thank you all. June 24 I will review again, and the others will get done promptly. July 1 I won't review because I missed that one, because of the...
Can they vote on July 1?
They only just went out.
Okay.
That's all I wanted. The June 24th, I thought were out, but I was told they weren't. So I
Okay,
just
good.
reached out.
Right.
Kathy should have a scoreboard too over there. They're all supposed to go through Kathy. I don't know what her scoreboard says, but she's our quality control officer on these, so
Just on the content, I don't.
That's what I mean.
Here.
That's what I mean by quality control, okay?
Alan, would you sign this?
Yeah,
Have we closed the meeting?
okay.
Not yet?
No, you did not close yet.
No.
Okay, thanks.
We are going to do a meeting on August 26th, a work session, and then Tuesday, the 3rd, a public meeting. I noticed everybody. I will entertain a motion that, borrow your pen. This meeting be adjourned.
Second?
I make that motion to adjourn this meeting.
No, you can second.
Thank you, second.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you all.